Okay. Hi, my name is Marie, and I am a grateful member of the Within Wellness team, and I think I am doing, I'm not sure what number we're on. Let me see. What day number? Let me think here. I think it might be day number 14. And I teach yin and breath yoga on Sundays at 5 p.m. And so yin is really connecting the body, mind with the connective tissue, the fascia, and the bones. So a lot of it has to do with alignment. So like if you need to go to a yoga class that really honors a need to just, kind of recover. So it's kind of like a restorative type of yoga. So say you're a hiker or you're a runner. I think yin is a good alternative. So that said, today I'm just going to be starting. We can start in seated position. And what we can do is to do something different for yin, and also to bring a little tapping into it is what I'm trying to get to. And a way to refresh the organs would be to start tapping. So with tapping, tapping is not just like, for this, these certain areas of the body, but it can also be applied to the belly. So if you take your hand and kind of just bring your fingers a little below, like an inch or two below the belly button, and you can start tapping below the belly button. And softly close the eyes. And this might seem really kind of weird to you for, the beginning of a yoga class. It's yin. That's also different. But just open yourself up to maybe doing something different and seeing where that brings your energy, and also kind of brings you into your subtle body. That's the wonderful thing about tapping. So a lot of times it's a really good way to begin a yin yoga practice. So we're just kind of tapping below the belly button a little bit. Kind of centering in the root chakra. You can have your eyes closed or just gently open. And then we can just bring our hands up to the solar plexus, also another chakra, and just kind of kicking up the energy there, just refreshing before we get into some of the organs. Nice deep inhale, really mindful exhales, releasing that stagnant energy from the lungs. And now we're going to move right to the liver. So you can go right below the rib cage, right below there, and that's where the liver is. Relaxing the shoulders, making sure that they're not up around your ears, and just giving some love to the liver that does its job, filtering, for the body. Again, you can keep your eyes open or closed. And you can also do this practice, or at least this part of it, standing up, if that also is better for your condition, your current condition. Now we're going to just gently go across to the other side, tapping, and go under the rib cage on the left side of the body. And we're going to give some love to the stomach. And the stomach, the emotion that the stomach feels is worry. So maybe staying open to anything that kind of comes up at this point, any kind of feeling, sensation, compared to the other side that we were on, which was the liver, and the liver carries our anger. So it's another thing that's good to keep mindful of. So coming back to center, below the belly button, a little more tapping, and then we'll come to a slow stop, just placing the hands over the lower belly, and then we're going to bring them up to the right, up and across the large intestine, and then down. So up on the right, and then down on the left. It's also a really nice way to warm up those organs. And just stop here in the center. Nice deep inhale, counterbalancing that deep inhale with a nice exhale. And just putting our hands to our knees. And also, I was thinking with yin yoga, it's also just like the yoga of the breath. How that applies to the breath is that you can bring an extended inhale and then a nice counterbalancing exhale. So, in other words, just sitting here, after that tapping exercise is another way to practice yoga. So another deep inhale and then an exhale. And we can just do some gentle neck circles. One direction. Kind of keying into how the neck is doing today. Maybe spending some time in an area that might feel a little tricky or sticky, and then just continuing around, integrating that breath. And then we'll come back to center, making sure those shoulder blades are back along, long back, and then we'll go in the other direction. A lot of information in the neck and how it's connected to the spine. It's a good place to start in a practice. Just checking in with that part of the body. Coming back into center. And then we can bring our shoulders to our ears. Hold for a moment. Keep that inhale and then exhale. Another inhale, shoulders up to the ears. Retaining the breath for a couple beats and then exhaling. We can try that one more time. Bringing the shoulders up to the ears, as close to the ears as we can. Deep inhale, retaining the breath for a moment, and then a nice exhale. Just letting those shoulders fall back away from the ears. And then at this point, if you are sitting on a block or anything like that, you can just pull that away. And we can just do a few different exercises in the seated position. Just continuing to warm up a little bit. Actually, we'll just go into a tabletop at this point and do some spinal warming exercises through cat-cows. So exhale, crown up, into cow, cat, exhale, cow, cat, exhale, cow. Again, making sure those hands and fingers are nicely spread, really getting a good grip on the floor, shoulders over the wrists. A few more cycles. Coming to center, neutral spine. And we can do some circles from here. So just engaging the side body on either side, really getting the rib cage involved to the sides. Really engaging with the edges of the hips, shoulders, rib cage. Coming back to center, and then the other direction. Maybe bending those elbows as we go in the other direction. Exploring and just getting some heat building some heat. Coming back to center. Getting those hands squared under the shoulders again, with the shoulder over the wrists. And then we can come back and just bring the hip to the side of the foot, maybe bending the bracing with that other arm. Deep inhale. Nice exhale. Ooh. Coming back up. And we can give the other side some attention. Good. Then we'll come back to center. Bring the knees to the edge of the mat. And you can have the feet together. That's available. And then bring the hands up above. And then bringing the forehead to the floor. Maybe steepling those fingers so that you get a little bit more of a stretch in the rotators of the shoulders. Don't be afraid to just make an audible sigh as you release. Then picking the head up on the inhale, bringing the hands back behind on the tops of the heels, maybe having the top of the forehead or the head or the forehead or the top of the head rather on the floor, whichever you like. Keeping those shoulders away from the ears. Then on the next inhale, bringing the hands up above again. Readjusting to put the hands behind the head in a steeple pose. Continuing that breath work, deep inhale, nice long exhale. Maybe at this point your spine is warm enough that you can just take a layer off. And now we'll bring our knees and ourselves back into tabletop. And just bringing yourself down on your elbows. So kind of stacking your hips over your knees. Engaging that core. And then leading with the crown. Bringing ourselves through, up above our hands, coming into Sphinx pose, engaging the glutes and looking back to the back of the feet, maybe towards the heels. Coming back to center, bringing the hands over each other, maybe the forearms kind of crossed, letting the head down on top of the hand, on the top hand. Nice deep inhale, maybe hold for a couple moments, and then exhale, letting the arms come to the side body and letting the cheek rest on one side. And then on the inhale, bring the head up to center, forehead on the mat, and then on the next exhale, bringing the head or cheek to the other side. Picking up the left hand and letting the right arm cross at a 45-degree angle. Picking up the back leg and tilting it toward the back. Letting the head rest down. Then on the next inhale, carefully lifting that leg up and with control, letting it back down on the floor. Bringing the hands to the side. Nice long neck. Tucking the chin to the chest. Bringing that left arm out to a 45-degree angle. Bracing with the other arm. Bringing that right leg behind us. Maybe some ankle rolls. Opening up the heart center also in this movement. Straightening that back leg, bringing it back to the floor. Hands to the sides of the chest. Inhale and exhale. On the next inhale, bring the shoulder blades back and bring ourselves back to child's pose. And in this child's pose, we can bring our elbows a little closer to each other and then resting the head in between. Different form of child's pose. Beautiful. Just keep doing the nice deep inhale. Counterbalancing with a really nice long exhale. And you should really feel it in the rotators of the shoulders. Then on the next inhale, we're going to bring our hands back to the floor, bringing ourselves back into tabletop. And we're going to do a little bit of more of a spinal. Getting back to that again is just doing some barrel rolls. One direction. coming to stillness, and then going in the other direction. Sometimes it takes a little bit of experimenting, figuring out what side that we just did. And it's kind of an exercise, I'm finding, in connecting my mind and body. So it kind of fills in the blanks to a certain degree. Are we honoring both sides of our bodies? So we'll just continue. One side might be more of a default than the other. Coming back to neutral spine. And then we're going to take one leg, putting hands forward a little bit, straighten it. And then we'll go to the other side, straighten that leg, maybe bend it a little bit, flex the foot and get a little bit of more of a calf stretch. We'll do that on both sides. We didn't get the right side as much the last time. I find that the left side gets a little less time in most yoga practices. So then we'll do a little bit of an experiment by picking one up, then the other, just lowering. Building a little more heat. Tapas. On this cold winter's night. One more. Beautiful. Then we'll lower both of the knees to the floor. And we will come back to child's pose. Maybe just kind of sway back a little bit, just to get a little bit of a different sensation. And we're going to thread the needle here. So here we'll just pick up the right arm and then scoop it through. Rather, that was the left. Scoop it through the right. That other arm can be up over our head, or we can take a bind. Whichever position honors your current physical condition. Another deep inhale. And a nice cooling exhale. Then on the next inhale, we'll unravel. Coming forward. Doing the other side, right arm up, bringing it through the left arm. We can have that other arm up overhead. Take that bind if you want. Maybe a soft smile on the face. Nice warm air going on the inhale. Nice cool air going out on the exhale. Then on the next inhale, we'll unravel. Bringing the arms forward, straightening those back legs. So we're going to be coming up on our forearms, rather resting on our forearms. And then just easing back a little bit. Coming back forward. Easing back and forward. Picking those arms back up. And then we're going to gently assist that right leg forward. Hands to the front of the knee, up, overhead. And then back to the mat into a half split. And rock that foot back and forth on the mat, just getting curious about the sensations to the heel. This is a wonderful acupressure point also. Really good for balancing hormones. Then we'll come forward, pick that back knee up off the floor, and just get a little gentle back and forth to bring that leg up to the front. Halfway lift, roots to extension, heel far from the crown far from the tail, and then exhale. Come on back into a downward dog, and just a little bit of pedaling, walking the dog. Nice inhale, exhale, coming to stillness, bringing those knees back to the ground. Feel your body before we go to the next side, bringing that left leg forward, hands to the knees, arms up above. Crown to the sky, arms back down to the mat, knee off the mat, and then gentle pulsation to bring that foot to meet with the front. Halfway lift. Inhale, come on back down. We're just going to do a slow gliding up, hands together, and coming back down to a forward bend. And then bring ourselves back into a downward dog. Walk the dog for a bit. And then bring both of those heels up, and then we can bring them right back down to the earth. Bringing those knees further back a little bit and letting those forearms come down to the floor. Keep the hips over the knees and have the hands and elbows a little further ahead. And relax that forehead to the floor in puppy dog pose. Opening up that heart center. You can have the feet pointed or flexed. Also checking those forearms that they are straight. Have that forehead resting on the floor. Maybe rolling head from side to side. Coming to stillness. On the inhale, Picking the crown up and leading with the crown, engaging the core, coming back down to the floor into Sphinx pose. Maybe adjusting those forearms so that the shoulder is above the elbow again. Nice deep inhale, retaining the breath for a couple moments, and then releasing the exhale. Now we're going to bring ourselves to our back sides so we can carefully transition to the floor. And just bring both the legs together to the chest. Really lengthen that neck, tuck the chin. Continuing with those deep inhales and exhales. We're going to unbind the ankles, release the left leg down to the floor. Carefully with a flexed foot, let the heel rest on the floor. And then bringing that outside leg up toward the shoulder. Maybe do some ankle rolls, one direction and then the other. And then on the inhale, we can bring that leg back to the baseline center and letting the leg roll to the other side. And maybe the head looking at the other arm that's extended. And then on the inhale, we can bring that leg back to center. Bringing it up with a flex. Rolling the ankle one direction and the other. Actually, and before we let that other leg down, we'll bend that left leg and straighten the right, and then let it ease down with control. And just see how that sensation is different than it was on the left. Once it's on the floor, inhale, and then exhale. We'll pick that leg up, put that leg bent on the floor. And we're going to go into reclined bound angle. So spreading the legs apart, feet together. Placing one hand on the heart and then the other hand on the belly. So I've got my left hand on my heart, the right hand on my belly. And we'll just tuck our chins again here. Lengthening that neck. Making sure the lower back is connecting with the floor. And just giving our bodies appreciation for coming into this space together tonight. Maybe there's something that you have heard through this practice Maybe you heard a message from your body, something that needs more care, more tenderness, more loving kindness. Nice deep inhale. Hold for a couple moments. Take another sip and then exhale. And then on the next inhale, we'll assist by bringing our legs together. And when we're ready, we can bring ourselves to the side. And gently bring ourselves up to center carefully, just keeping that sensation in the body that we have cultivated through our practice tonight together. So this is an abbreviated version of an example of what one of my yin classes would look like. We didn't do the savasana, but typically we would do that with a little bit of a guided meditation. But we can just now bring our hands to our hearts. With a deep inhale, bringing gratitude. Bringing our hands to our head, hoping for positive thoughts to the lips, positive words, hoping that your spirit is rested and your body is soaring. Namaste.